What's going on, everybody? I love that song. I love that song. That is Suicidal Tendencies. That's my heavy metal part of me. All right, today we are going to be talking. First, let me introduce myself because I have Russ's, some of Russ's people coming up here. My name is Sam, and I am with Outdoors in Maryland. And me and my wife, we do a lot of blue crabbing on our YouTube channel. Probably maybe too much. Maybe a little bit too much, but we do it all the time. She loves it. She's a little cuckoo for it. We're actually just got back and went Sunday morning, caught about a nice good half bushel of crabs. Actually, some pretty nice ones. The video is going to come out. She'll show you one of them big ones. And we'll be going out this week. So the big thing here, because I listen to a lot of guys, especially Russ. Russ is going to be my guest today. He's from SMOKEY RIBS BBQ. And I've been watching him. I mean, he's like a staple when it comes to barbecue, cooking, and everything. I get so many recipes. And the best thing with Russ is that he makes it pretty simple for anybody to come on and learn how to cook some stuff. Now, I got to learn Russ when he was, I had Roku, the little Roku sticks, Fire Sticks, whatever it may be. And he has a streaming line on there for Roku. So I used to watch him from there, and then I found him on YouTube. And one of his favorites, and I don't know if I brought that up there, but I'll eventually go to his channel because I might share the screen. But one of his biggest videos that he did, or one of his top videos, is the contest, him boiling and steaming crabs and what he thought about both of them. So I tell you what, before I do this, let's see, and let's bring Russ up. Let's just bring Russ up. I made a little tiny intro for Russ.
What's up, Sam?
Hey, Russ, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just getting rained out here. Finally, we needed it.
Yeah, we're the same here. We've getting some thunderstorms coming through, at nighttime because of the heat. But we've actually today seemed like we had all morning and everything kind of a misty. It's kind of been misty, a little bit of raining, not too much raining. But it's been well. It's kind of cooled things off because it's been pretty hot. So real quick, anybody's joining, like I said, you got a lot of comments in there, so you can start highlighting any of them. My love, she's in there. She's doing this. I'm going to bring the comments up so I can look at any of them. And it's been nice. And I appreciate you coming on. And everybody, this is Russ Jones. Russ Jones has a YouTube channel called SMOKEY RIBS BBQ. And like I said, I've been a subscriber and a fan of his for, how long have you been on YouTube?
I've been on a little over 11 years.
11 years?
11 years in July.
Does it get hard to come up with stuff to cook?
Not really. It's almost like, even though I'm retired from my day job now, it's almost like maybe it's just the lazy side of me, but it's almost like I got all these ideas and it takes me forever to get to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do try to get content out weekly though.
So what do you drink? Are you drinking anything tonight, Russ?
Just Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. He
Miller
likes
Lite.
the light beers like you. He's whipping out on us today. So today I got the this is a barrel-aged beer. Let me see if I can get that right. A barrel-aged beer, and it's peanut butter. It's a peanut butter, 10% alcohol in it. I like drinking them every once in a while. I can't drink the whiskey thing, kind of. So one of the big things that a lot of people talk about, because I watch a couple YouTube channels down south, two of them out of Louisiana, and that is outside the levees. That's Jarrett and Kendall, K Fred down there, and they do a lot of cooking. And one of the things, especially with your your YouTube channel and the video you made. A lot of us up here in Maryland would think if you're going to, because you don't want, for us, you don't want the crabs to touch the water. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's if you touch the water, they're thinking, because we've had them where they get pretty mushy. So maybe you can explain maybe a little bit of the technique why it wouldn't be so mushy when you boil them.
Well, the biggest thing, if you got a mushy crab from boiling, you've overcooked it. I mean, that's the whole reason right there. In that video that I did, matter of fact, let me, for people
Hold on
watching.
hold on 1 second, Russ. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Russ Russ is from the coast of Mississippi in Biloxi. He is a Southern boy. He does a lot of boiling, especially when it comes to. He's got. Whoa, whoa. Hey, sunshine. Oh, there you go. You're. That's right. You can share your screen. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull my browser back up because I lost it. There we go. That was taken from the one on the left is boiled, the one on the right is steamed. Cooked them both, same day, two different pots. And the whole boiling trick to like blue crabs is a lot of people take and boil them for 15 minutes. Well, you done overcooked them crabs. The way I done these in this video, I boil them hard for 3 minutes, cut the fire off, and let them soak for about 6 minutes with the lid off. No, I'm sorry, lid on to kind of hold some of that heat in there to let them finish cooking with the fire off. And then I cool that pot down. They call it a boil boss. It's like a heat exchanger. And it takes 2 to 3 minutes to get that down to where they're no longer cooking. And these turned out perfect. I compared the meat on this one to the meat on the steamed. And other than the shell, because I flip them upside down when I pull that body off the shell, and the boiled had probably 2/3 more water laying in that shell than what the steam did. The steam had about a third of the water, but the texture of the meat was identical. Neither one of them was mushy. But I will say this: it's easier to dial in perfect crabs with steaming, but you can overcook with steaming as well. But it's harder. It's harder to mess them up.
Well, the problem with the steaming thing is, especially, a lot of times I'll run in and have a, we'll come back and I have a keg barrel that I steam my stuff in,
Yeah.
and I can almost put a bushel in there. Now, that's where we don't want to put too much water. You want to make sure you got enough water in there. Oh, you click that back on. Let me
Yeah, I just closed it. I didn't want to hog up all your screen there.
um if you don't keep an eye on it, knowing you might, because usually for like we cooked a half a bushel, it takes about 20 minutes to 25 minutes to cook them. If
Yeah,
you want to, and sometimes you got to watch the water because for us down here, we don't want the water to touch the crabs. They're saying, don't let the water touch the crabs. Ah,
you're right.
it's
Yeah,
down here, up here. I'm sorry. And, and the water runs out. And then if you don't catch it and don't realize it before you know it, you got the burnt smell, and then I think you got a video where you did it and you actually ruined like all the crabs you got.
I did, man. I had a blowout on that pot. It was a old rocket pot made out of aluminum, and I used that thing for 8 years. The crabs I was just showing you earlier, I used that pot on that original video. But when I went back to do steamed crabs, it's been about 3 years ago, I think, since I've done that other video, and I burnt a hole in that pot, man. I think it was fractured and that water was steadily leaking out because I remember sitting on a lounge chair and the flame, instead of being blue like it normally is, it was getting a lot of orange in it. And that's where that water was hitting the fire. It didn't dawn on me. Then all of a sudden, man, I was seeing all this smoke, and it wasn't steam, it was smoke. And I smelt that. I'm like, crap, man. All the water was gone. I had plenty in there. It wasn't from that, it was leaking out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they ended up burning a hole like that in the bottom of it. It just melted that thing to pieces. So I redeemed myself 2 weeks later. I bought a stainless steel steaming pot and I reshot that video. No problems on
Yeah.
that one.
So I'm going to try to go through. I know my wife's putting them up there, and I'm clicking. So here in Maryland, when I would say most people here in Maryland, a lot of people think it's Old Bay. That's it, Matt. But we use JO number 2. JO number 2 is specifically made for steaming crabs.
Right.
JO Seasoning and the JO Company. They were actually just put on what's that show that Mike Rowe does? Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
They just had them on Dirty Jobs. You can see that if you want to go and check that out. That's pretty cool. That company's been in here close. It's going on 76 years now. The hell was that? Are you messing with me, Russ?
I didn't do anything.
I just had some cat come up and clicking on my. What was that?
I didn't see it.
I don't know.
But I would think when they steam crabs, it looks the same as if you were going to steam crawfish,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep. Well, when we steam crawfish, we cook them by steaming them, but we have a soaking pot off to the side of it that's already boiled down, and we got it cooled down to a soaking temperature. So we steam them just to cook them, kind of like I did the shrimp last week on that video. Same thought there. You cook them with steam, and then you soak them in the liquid for 25 minutes to suck up all the flavor. And you could actually do crabs like that. If you didn't want to just put the seasoning right on top of them, you could steam them, then put them in a soak to where they do suck up. I mean, I'm just saying that's another way to do it. There's so many things you can do, you know, but it's all good if it's done right, you know.
I've always, you know, obviously up here we've done it that way. You know, I see people in Florida. A lot of people, they will actually, before they do anything, completely rip the shell off,
Yeah.
squirt the whole inside out because they don't like that poopy stuff in there, like us Maryland do.
I've done
like
that, but I mainly clean crabs like that and break them in half when I'm putting them in a gumbo. I'm just trying to pick up that flavor, so I want that meat exposed, you know. But and I have boiled them clean like that, but you'll get more flavor out of crabs if you leave them intact. You know what I'm saying? Let that fat and guts and everything help season that meat. I'm a firm believer of that. Kind of like boiling shrimp or steaming shrimp. I always do it with the shells and heads on. People say, why are you leaving the heads on? Well, it's flavor that the meat's picking up as it's cooking. You know,
Yes.
that's why I do it.
I appreciate everybody coming in. I mean, I know most of us coming from Russ, but I'm hoping to introduce myself to a lot of you guys. Like I said, me and the wife, we're probably going to throw some more fishing in there. But we are going to, I think we're going to do the catch and cooks a little bit more, start bringing in some cooking. I am heading to Virginia this weekend. I think we might be doing a little dove hunting. Do I look like I'm freezing? Huh? No? Okay. A little dove hunting. And so we're going to do some dove poppers, you know, some jalapeno poppers and bacon and cream cheese and all that stuff. And then we're going to go do some red fishing. I'm a little excited about that. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend. Our striper season's here, so some rockfish stuff. And with us, we go crabbing so much. One of the things that we enjoy doing, well, the wife over there loves doing, she does most of the picking. So we get a half a bushel of crabs, we eat a couple crabs, and then what we'll do is that we'll actually pick the meat, vacuum seal it, we put it in the freezer. That way we got plenty of crab meat. I think last year we had almost 50 pounds. We had about almost 50 pounds of crab meat saved up. And that lasts a lot through the winter time. With, you know, especially when you want the holidays, crab, you know, crab balls, crab that.
I tell you what, man, catching them yourself is such a savings. We can buy a lump crab meat already picked. You know, they like, I don't know how they do it. I guess they boil them without any seasoning, just to where they can pick the meat out or whatever. They might steam them, I'm not sure. But they sell this in these tubs, and when you buy it, it's only like a day old. But man, that stuff's like $35 for 1 pound. You said 50 pounds. That translates into a lot of money if you had to buy it, you know.
I think Brian's Sanford seed our our crabbing video when it was windy out. My wife swears up and down she's never going trout lining with me again. Trot lining. Yeah, that was a hoot. That was a hoot.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, when it gets, you know, when you set a trout line out there. So up in here in Maryland, we're allowed to do trot lining, and 1,200 foot. I have a video with my next door neighbor. She is a commercial crabber and she's a trout liner. So trot liner. Somebody gave me a hard time about that earlier today.
Calling it trout instead of trot.
Yeah, calling it trout. That's that Maryland accent.
Yeah.
But she can run unlimited line. And what it is, I use 1,200 feet from a buoy to another buoy, and it's weighted to the bottom. And we take this, it's like a roller or something. So as we run it, it brings up the line, and we have about 200 baits on that we just dip them with a net when we're coming by. And if they're on, if the crabbing is on, institutionalized, yeah, suicidal tendencies. That's right. Um, if it's on, you can fill. We used to be able to catch 2 bushels of crabs per boat, per license on a boat. So you can have 5 people with a license, but you were only allowed 1 per boat, 2 bushels. But they had cut back the limits this year. And that's what's making it hard on my neighbor, because she's a commercial. And in August, they made them have limits. They were only allowed so many crabs. I think they were having an issue in Louisiana, because Robbie that I had on here before, he actually was throwing crabs back. Excuse me, was throwing crabs back. I think because of the price. The price was so low or something, or it was something weird. But here, you know, you can only catch a certain amount of bushels. And after that, you got to throw them back. So
Yeah.
that that really kind of stinks, because what it don't make sense is that the crabs are going to be there. If you're not going to catch them, somebody else is going to catch them. And
Yeah.
I guess that would it. Okay, so for me, I want to learn how you actually do this and boil them. Now, one of the big differences I think between steaming them and boiling them is, I would think, the price for ingredients.
It
We
is.
basically just have one seasoning. If you're going to really do um, a boil, I mean, you can, it could probably rack up a little bit depending on what you get and where you get it.
Right. Yeah, you can spend a lot of money on seasoning, and we put lemons in our boils to give it that acidity and that little lemon pop that it needs. We put onions, we put garlic. We normally puree that down, or I do, and that way just all that cooks away. You ain't got a bunch of slimy onions or anything like that. It just dissolves into the water, but you do get that flavor, you know. And it's a lot more expensive than steaming, and
Yeah.
it's really a longer process because you got a lot more water that you got to get up to a rapid rolling boil. Then you got all these seasonings, and the cook time is about the same by the time you boil 3 minutes, let it sit there for another six, and then let it cool. Actually, it's longer because you got to let it, cool down for the 20, 25 minutes. And I use that, like I said earlier, that boil balls to cool the pot down rapidly to prevent overcooking. But getting back to the JO, that's where I first heard of it. Was that video that I did 5 years ago, whenever it was, 6 years ago, that boil versus steam, and
And
everybody's
that's
like,
got
"We
like, I think that's got like 600 and some, close to 700,000 views.
something like that." Yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody was coming on like, "Man, we don't use Old Bay. We use JO number two." I'm like, JO. So I looked it up. I went, "Oh, okay. I didn't know about that." But I did say in the video that I'm sure they got other things that they use, because at one time all we had around here was Zatarans, Cajun
Mhm.
boil, and now we got all kind of brands. I got a box sitting right here that's got knee deep blends, Keith Jenkins stuff. And then I used some Compass Point in that video the other day. So we got all kind of people making seasonings. But I did notice some people would say just the opposite. Some people would say that if you go buy like steamed crabs someplace like an establishment, they're going to use JO number two. Said, but a lot of people at home, they'll mix JO number two with Old Bay, or sometimes just Old Bay. And so that's where I got the Old Bay thing for that video. But that last video I did, I actually had to mix it. I used what I had left, because keep in mind, I bought that big tub of JO number
Yeah.
two, and that pot burnt that hole in it. Only had a little less than a half a bottle left. So I used that. I used some Old Bay, and I used some mustard powder. And that mustard, man, I'll do that again. That really added a little zing to it. I liked it a lot.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate it. I thought this was, I try to see if Jarrett from Outside the Levees, he's from Louisiana, and he said he just couldn't do nights. And I tried to see if K Fred, I didn't ask K Fred So I know he said that he can get pretty busy. He's a really busy guy, and so me and Russ, I think we can give you. Yeah,
I was
I
going to
mean,
show you. One reason we boil them too is because we don't do. Very few people just boil a bunch of crabs. I mean, some people do. I do
mhm.
sometimes, but normally, if we're going to do crabs, we're going to do shrimp, and a lot of times we got crawfish in there too. We do it all in one pot, and plus we do our vegetables in these pots. But
The so the metalhead. Hey Mike, if you want to, I have another channel that I'm doing stuff. It's called Headbangers and Hard Rock Television. It's on YouTube. I do. We just did Metal Church, old school Metal Church, could just come out with a new album. There's a. I'm sorry, I'm talking music real quick. Um, there's another band out right now that's absolutely great. It's got the old 80s rock. He is a guitar player from Judas Priest. He's the replacement of KK Downing, and he come out with a new album. And guy from Accept, guy from what's the bass player? He's with an 80s band. I forgot the name of the band. And the singer Ronnie Romero, he's got a Spanish band. He's Spanish, and they're called Elegant Weapons. If you like just good rock and roll with a little bit of 80s, it's a little heavy, not like crazy heavy. It's just a little heavy guitar. They're called Elegant Weapons. The whole album is probably one of my top albums of the year coming up. We'll be doing that soon. Okay, sorry about that. All right, got my medal in there. Switch
yeah,
that back for me
there
there,
you go.
young man. Switch that back for me there, young man.
Switch
Did
what?
you click us back to? I don't know where it was.
You talking to
There
me?
we go. I did
Oh,
it. I got it. I got it.
okay.
The so I mean, a lot of people said they would only use Old Bay steaming crabs, like Old Bay, and they would mix like maybe rock salt in there, or but people are treating that when we steam crabs that I can remember, it was always Old Bay. But a lot, I did something. Talked with Ginger from Jo Seasoning, and when I did a video, and I had some Old Bay in the video and everything, and she don't like. I don't think they like Old Bay too much, but the she she really. I mean, the family's it's a family owned business. It's a really small business. So if you want to check Jo Seasoning, I do have links in some of my videos that you can check it out. But they have all kind of seasonings like JO number one. Now, JO number one is something that you could use for steaming shrimp um,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So they have a different kind of varieties of seasonings if you're interested in that. The one thing down here that you don't have there, you guys can catch blue crabs pretty much all year long, right?
All year long.
You're seasoned that because so when you were down on the coast, and a lot of times I've seen you on your sailboat. I know that was a long time ago. I mean, have you done any crabbing lately at all?
No, I haven't. I used to way before you two, man. We used to go crabbing every opportunity, but when I started this channel between my job and then YouTube, I didn't have time really. We tried to do some fishing videos, and we did knock three of them out, but man, that's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are they biting? If they ain't biting, you ain't got a video. And I remember that one video I got where I was catching speckled trout in Bayou and Graveline Bayou, not too far from me here. It took 4 trips to finally get a video before we really got into them, So
Mhm.
I didn't do a lot of them kind of videos, but no, it's been a while since I've been crabbing. I've been having to buy everything for any videos I do. I lucked out on that one that I did 5 years ago. That place up in Maryland, Cameron's, I think it's the name of the company.
Yep.
They
Cameron
mailed me
Seafood.
that huge box of them, so I took half and boiled and half and steamed. Did a comparison at the end of it.
The and you actually did another crabbing video that I think that's when me and you really started talking, or you and I
Hmm.
started talking. I commented on it because you actually got two Dungeness crabs from out on the West Coast, and you and I was asking a question because I know you boiled them. I figured, well, if you boiled them and you got all the well, VA to still allow people to harvest females. If so, that would, yeah. The thing here in Maryland, if you're a commercial person, you can actually harvest females. I don't know. You can harvest females. I don't know if it's a limit on that, but for recreational ones like me, I can't keep any females whatsoever. So we throw all the females back. Um, but I do get them once in a while. Like I said, my next door neighbor, she's a commercial crabber, and she's a commercial crabber, so she's allowed to get them, and I can get them pretty cheap. I mean, she gave me, I can sometimes later in the season, I can get maybe a half a bushel to a bushel of them for like $25. Wife don't like them for some reason. They keep saying, do you see any difference at all between female and male blue crabs when you cook them?
A little bit in the meat taste, not much, but I do notice a little bit. We can legally take females here as long as they're not holding eggs, which I wouldn't keep up one holding eggs, no way. But I had went and bought a lot of crabs, buy them, and I just take whatever they give me. Now I kind of quit going to the local place I normally go to. There's an Asian store here. Daily, they get all these big, huge boxes of blue crabs in. You can actually pick the ones you want. They give you a pair of tongs and some paper bags, and you just throw them crabs in that bag. Take them back home and cook them however you want to.
Is it
But
by weight, or do they charge you by weight, or by how many crabs you get by crab?
if I remember right, they weigh it. They charge you by the pound. But
From Seattle.
I do like that you can actually pick the ones you want, but I have no issues with female because they are legal in this state to take them. We have a big abundance of crabs. I mean, I've had the MDR walk right by me with crab nets just at a pier, and they look and keep on going. They don't ask for a license because you don't have to have a fishing license or any kind of license to use a crab net.
Net, the
Yeah.
traps like we have are the
Now,
thing.
if you have a crab pot, then yeah, you got to get a license, recreational license for that.
Yeah, here we don't you don't need a license here. I think you're allowed up to 10 collapsible traps. That's our little square traps that we
Yeah,
use. Um, I think you're allowed 10, and you're only allowed to keep two dozen or two, you're only allowed to keep 2 dozen of crabs without any kind of a license. The But you can put as many hand strings. So when I was younger, we used to just take a string and put some, I think I've seen one of your videos, just put some string on it
chicken
and
neck or something.
a
Yeah,
chicken egg, and that's it. Well, that picture he has up there, so he actually cooked some uh Dungeness crabs, and then after he boiled them, he actually put them into a wok. And that was kind of the question for me to send to him was, well, if he just did all that and it has all that flavor, so explain why
okay.
you
If
actually stuck them
if you
back in the
remember
wok.
that video, I cooked them. There's that rectangle looking pot I got. It's really a pot or a steamer. You can do either. So I submerged them underwater, just enough to cover them, and I cooked them that way. Then I put them in ice water to kind of cool them off. Then I put them back and allowed that water time to cool off. Then I put them back in there and let them soak for 25, 30 minutes to pull in all that flavor. All right. So the flavor's still there. And from there, they went into the wok with a lot of butter and a lot of garlic and some fish oil, some lemongrass. And what I did with that was called a Viet Cajun. It's a real thing. It's popular in Houston, Texas. It's Viet Cajun style. So you're not only getting Cajun flavors, you're getting the Vietnamese influence in there. And you talk about good. Holy smokes, man. I wish I would have had a whole basket of those crabs you're looking at right there. They were
Well,
fantastic.
I, I wish, I think if you want to get them here, I think you would have to, hold on one second. I made this. So see, I made it all pretty right there. The, so here, well, I think a lot of Marylanders or a lot of people on the East Coast don't realize. I know they had them in Virginia, and there was a guy out of Ocean City, Maryland, and I know they're more up towards New England and like that. But out here in the Atlantic Ocean, we actually have a crab. It's called the Atlantic red crab. It's similar looking to the Dungeness crab. They catch these crabs in 1,800 feet of water, this guy didn't go out the last 2 years. I think last year was because of it could have been because of the pandemic, and this year pandemic, and I know this year he didn't go out because I ask him every season, because I've been, and the problem with me, I live about an hour and a half away, so I would have to figure out how to get down there if it's on a work night when I got to be home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're called, and I've been wanting to try them. If I can get a hold of them, I'm going to try this year. I think there's a company, but I think this is a winter crab.
Hmm.
Um, so I really want to try them. I mean, they're big. They look big, giant, maroon. Um, I wish I could. You know what? I forgot that I actually got a computer up here.
Thank you for the
Hold on
super
one second,
chat,
people.
Gail, and thanks for popping in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Dungeness crab, holy crap. I've always said all my life that nothing can beat blue crab. I had to back off of that once I tasted the Dungeness. It's like, holy crap, man. It's just, I still love blue crab. Don't get me wrong with that Dungeness. I don't see how anything can beat that. It's so good.
Wish I'm gonna show. Let me see if I can find images and share my. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen real quick. If I don't do this, so if I screw up, I don't do this much. So just be patient. See if this comes up.
For anybody from my channel, if y'all are not subscribed to Sam, I appreciate it. I know he would if you go over there and give him a sub. It's Outdoors in Maryland.
See if you see that. Do you see that, Russ?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see them? They look pretty much almost like a Dungeness crab.
Yeah.
These up
Very
here.
similar. Yeah.
And I know a guy close to me actually did it. And all right, let me get back to StreamYard here. Stop sharing my thing. Get back to that. All right, man. See, I'm getting the hang of this. So I want to try these pretty bad. I mean, I like to try them both ways. I don't know about boiling them because I'm not good at it. I might screw them up, but maybe taking the shell off of one. And then I'll just, most likely I probably would steam them or at least open them up and maybe grill them. So how do you like grilling your blue crabs? Have you ever grilled, just put them on a smoker? Because I know now
I did
we're
the
talking blue.
I did the stuffed crabs, that video. I didn't get a picture of that, but I did I cleaned all the crabs, got all the meat, made the stuff, and it's like a Maryland crab cake. Imagine that, but it's stuffed inside of the shell of a crab. That's all it is. And then I put them on my Kamado to cook them. And yeah, I won't smoke crabs. I was sitting there reading a forum earlier. People want to know if anybody knew how to smoke crabs, do they like it, whatever. I personally don't like smoke on anything with that delicate of a flavor. The smoke just don't belong on a crab, in my opinion. Some people might love it, but that's just me.
I want to okay. But if there's any questions for Russ, now Russ, he's like I said, he's been on YouTube. He said 10 years, and he has a really good channel. I mean, especially when he's got such a variety of such a variety of what he does. Right now, you're actually doing a lot of stuff with the freeze drying. I mean, you did some candy. Explain and your wife's getting ready to do it, right?
Yeah, it's actually her thing. I got the freeze dryer mainly to preserve food for later times or whatever. But we got to making this candy with it, and man, she loves it. She makes this salted caramel pecan brittle, and when she gets done with that, I'll take, or she'll help me break it into small pieces. You load all these trays up in the freeze dryer, and they turn into puffs. When I say puffs, it's like a cheese puff. That's how quickly it dissolves in your mouth, but it tastes like the salted caramel pecan brittle. Even the pecans are still in it. It's like wild. So anybody with bad teeth or no teeth, they can eat these and still get that flavor.
Well, the trout line we were crabbing, we were in like 4 foot of water that weren't we? We were in a mix between 4 and 6 foot of water on Sunday. So these crabs, a lot of them, they'll come in. You'll get a lot of doublers, and doublers is basically a male on top of a immature female. Um, they'll come in. The females are coming in the shed, and the big heart. And usually, you get a real big male on top of her, and he will sit there and protect her while she molts and turns into a soft shell. And when she comes into a soft shell, he will actually impregnate her when she becomes mature. That's kind of how I figure it. And so a lot of times we'll catch. They'll go into the shallows, and them big crabs will come right in there and do this. Come in there, and we can, man. We kind of block off a little area. We did pretty good. It started off a little slows Sunday morning. I hate going on the weekends because I tell you, there's on the weekends down here. Maryland crabs. I mean, there's boats everywhere. The parking lots are filled, and you just sometimes you look for the. It can be absolutely crazy down here.
I can imagine, man. Hey, Quint, I
Um,
just made you a moderator, so you know.
he's doing. I'm working this up because I'm going to be trying to do this on my the other channel that I have with the music stuff. I wanted to maybe instead of actually doing it because editing can be long and tedious, which I'll be up late tonight because I got to get out 2 videos. And I have a crabbing video, commercial crabbing with my next door neighbor. I think I'm gonna get her, put hers out, and then we're going to be. I'm gonna try and click on everybody.
I tell you what, that is one of the hardest working women I ever seen, man. When you post some videos,
Yeah,
like, my goodness, she's a go
and
getter, ain't she? With those crabs.
well, and it's every day. Well, this year was a little tough for her. Well, I wouldn't say tough. So she usually crabs all year, and so when crabbing season's over, it's usually December 15th. The crabbing season's over here in Maryland, but now I think it's going to be um November. I think the end of November, October. No, end of October, around Halloween. That's going to be the end of the crabbing season. October, November, no, November. November. I'm sorry. Yeah, November. The end of
Okay.
November. Um, and she usually has November, which is December, January, February, March. So she has 3-4 months before before the season opens back up again in April. So last year was her first year. She got done crabbing. She switched her boat over to oystering. So I have a video. If anybody will check it, I went out with her to do some commercial oystering, to show you how everything goes, how they do it here. They have 3 different kind of ways to catch them. They still have guys out there hand towing them, standing
Yeah.
on the edge of the boats with these long things and
Yeah.
bringing them up. Um, they have dredgers, which that's what she does. So she'll find a little area. Excuse me. She finds a little area about as big as maybe a football field, maybe that big, and she kind of just goes into a circle. What's that? Hold up. What's that? Back into white crabs. Yeah, well, I think Sleepy Barbecue. I think I'm a little messed up on that because so if you got blue crabs in a basket and everything, all of a sudden you see all these bubbles coming out of their mouth. Well,
Foaming at the mouth. Yeah.
supposedly that's them transitioning from breathing water to breathing air. Um, but I was told not to really put them back into the water because they would die. But then I see these guys that are getting their bushel limits, they're throwing them back into the water because I wanted to take some crabs and actually purge them. I wanted to put them in some water like you do crawfish, stick them in and purge them and see, kind of see if there was any difference, making a video to see if there was any kind of a difference of the taste or anything. Do you think that would help at all?
That might. It just made me think of something though. I've always heard, and then I actually seen a video one day. This been a while back, but I've always heard you can freeze a blue crab, rock hard, and thaw him out, and he'll come back to life. And there was a video I watched, and the guy had these crabs out in his shed, and it froze that night, and some of them got frozen at water, and he pulled it out, and it looked real to me. And lo and behold, I'm gonna try that. Just see. I figured that might make a good video just to see, if it actually works. But it don't seem possible, does it? freeze something solid and thaw it out, it's still alive. Who knows?
No, I know. No, who knows? Them things. What I mean, when it gets frozen here in Maryland, I mean, they dig into the mud and go
Yeah,
dormant pretty much. Maybe
right.
they'll dormant. I don't know.
That's why Maryland's got such fat crabs too, because it gets a lot colder, the water there, than it does here. We have skinny crab. Y'all have them big plump ones, man. Nice
I don't
ones.
know. I've seen some pretty gigantic because, well, a lot of people, the down in Louisiana, we get a lot of in the wintertime when we can't catch crabs. We get most of our crabs from Louisiana down south. They
Hmm.
ship them up there, and
I've read that before. Yeah.
the but the bubbling stuff. But I want to try to purge them to see, if the water's dirty, because everybody thinks the inside is the orange stuff is the mustard, as we call it, is fat. I don't think it's fat. I think it's more. It's just a little bit of the good tasting poopy stuff. It's all our
Yeah.
way. People say, "Don't eat that. Don't eat that." Um,
I don't
I'm
go out of
sitting here.
my way to eat the mustard, but if there's some, like I don't take it out. Like when I pop it, whatever's there on the meat, I'll eat it. I ain't got no problem with it. It tastes good.
Well, a lot of people, when we open the shell up and then you see all this stuff up inside the shell, and I see a lot of people completely clean the inside of that shell out, and people go, "Ew!" But if you think about it, all that is in there is just that crab making another shell. It's actually making another, because when they molt, they got to actually start, you know, building the inside of the crab. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I got a video too of watching the crab actually back out of a shell. Um, while we were out on the they call them a buster. So we pulled one out. There was a female that was actually starting to come out the back of her shell. So we stuck her in a bucket of water, and within a half an hour, she came right out. If we kept her out, she wouldn't do it. But
Yeah, you
she,
did a video on that, didn't you? Shedding.
yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty
coming
cool.
out. And I probably could have quickened that up a little bit. I think I painfully let people watch it, but it's just cool to watch how how they squeak out of it and how they do. It's pretty. It's pretty amazing to watch. And I didn't realize either that blue crabs only stay alive like 2 or 3 years. That's as long as their life is. So you're
Really?
not going to have a crab that's like 10 years old.
Huh? I didn't know that because I've seen some monsters. Which that don't mean they're older. That just means they were in some really good area, I reckon, to grow that big. Good genetics or something. Who knows?
So the mud that Maryland crab live in is too granular, as opposed to the southern crawfish live in the much finer powdery consistency of mud. That's the reason for purging. Interesting. See, I didn't know that. I
Well,
wonder
it
if it would
depends.
happen.
I mean, you can crab here, and you're crabbing in muddy bottoms. If you go over
No, we
to
got sandy
like,
and rocky. No, a lot of the times it's between muddy. A lot of times you'll find them actually on oyster shells, on oyster beds. They'll be up there.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. If you get more over towards Alabama, like Gulf Shores, and keep going east, you get sand bottoms. That's the reason the water is a lot clearer and bluer there than it is here. We got stained water because we got mud, silty bottoms, and crabs live in that. But if you go over there and catch them, they're not dealing with all that mud and stuff. But either way, I've never purged a crab. We just cook them. I've never noticed
Yeah,
anything wrong with it.
keep all the good dirty stuff inside of it.
Yeah, that's flavor,
I feel
man.
that purging. What to eat goes down their digestive tract and they poop it out. I don't know if they poop it out. I think that mustard. I think they keep it in there for a while. The but you just did a boil. I actually just watched it. Now even though we've been talking a lot about blue crabs, if there's any other questions with that, please ask us, because I could do my best to try to answer you. But Russ is here, and I really like to see if anybody wants to pick his brain on anything else, because he just did a 2-person. So me and the wife usually only does it. I've done a boil before, but I think my big mistake was actually, as soon as it's done boiling, we take them off, to where we just watched you, and you did a pretty cool technique. So I want you to explain how you did that. or your technique for doing it?
Yeah, the shrimp. Well, the whole point is to get them cooked without overcooking them. And most of my boils until I did that video have always been like outdoors on high performance pots. When I say high performance, I buy pots that have a special bottom that acts like a heat sink to put more heat into the pot instead of blowing up the sides and out. And you can get, well, let's say like I had a, or I got a 120 quart pot. I can fill that halfway up, which is roughly what, 14 gallons of water. I can have that water boiling to a high boil. I'm talking about rolling hard as it can roll in 8 minutes. You can't do that with a regular pot. So
Oh,
once you get your boil up to a good head of steam or whatever, and you got all your seasons in there and you've let that boil long enough to marry everything up, you can drop your shrimp in there and just turn them off for the most part, let them soak for 3 minutes and cool that pot off with a boil boss. Well, I was trying to show people how to get perfectly easy peel shrimp on your kitchen stove. Well, the trick is you don't boil them. You put them in a pot of water that's cold, and all you do is turn your burner on after they're in there, and you slowly bring it up, and you watch the color of those shrimp, and you stir them every now and then to keep it cooking evenly, and you just keep watching it until you get that red color. Then I actually took a few out and stuck an instant read thermometer in there. When you're around the 145 mark, get them out of there, put them on ice, ice water to cool them, and then you got a soaking pot. You actually do the soaking pot first to where it can be cooling down. You get it down to 150 degrees, take those shrimp you just cooked, put them over in that soaking pot, let them soak 25 minutes, boil shrimp, but they never actually boiled, but we still call them boiled shrimp.
Russ, we have Gail's food, music, and stuff is dying to know why you only got tattoos on one arm.
I got a tattoo on that arm.
She said she's willing to pay $5 just to get that answer.
All right, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I was a pipe welder by trade for many, many, many years, and I'm right-handed, and a lot of it was stick welding. So when I'm welding, the arm that's, and hey, it's hot down here. Yeah, I would weld in short sleeves or thin shirts, and fire would go in there and burn. Anyway, I got scarred up bad on my arm. So to hide a lot of them welding scars, I just tattooed over them or had them tattooed over. And that one, that was
There,
just for kicks and grins.
that was having a little bit too much bourbon one night.
No, that actually happened over a period of time. I got most of that done in Virginia, Myrtle Beach, not Myrtle Beach. Where was that at in Virginia? Newport News, Hampton,
Newport News.
right in that area. Yeah, I worked there through my company. They sent a bunch of us over to Newport News to work, and I was actually living in Hampton, and I had most of that tattoo work done there.
Stand by that.
Big waste of money is all it is.
I know. You go, you go, and I don't know. I don't got any tattoos, and I've been me and my wife. We've been together. We're what is it again? Tell me because I forgot. 36, right? 36,
Thank you.
36.
Yeah.
I'm on 37. 37 years. Me and my wife been together, and I don't wear my ring pretty much because I hate wearing jewelry. I don't know. I usually don't wear no jewelry at all. No necklaces, nothing around me.
Yeah.
And I did it while I was working. I guess it was a habit. Um, thank you, Gail. And I know somebody else sent another one too. And I forgot to say thank you.
That was Gail. She sent 2 of them.
Oh, did she?
Oh, yeah. That's
Thank you
awesome.
very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Newport News. That's right.
Newport News. Yeah, I did some work down there a long time myself. Now so eating can you tell any difference between the blue crabs? You've had some Maryland crabs come from down there, and do you see any difference from the crab that you get from you
No.
up to here?
Tastes the exact same. It's just the ones y'all have can be a lot plumper, than what we have here, or at least that's my experience. Because the ones they shipped me that day, man, that was some fine crab. They were so meaty. But I mean, don't get me wrong; these are not anorexia or anything down here. They just don't seem to be as thick and full of meat. You know how the crab would get that rust on the bottom when they're really holding a lot of meat. You know,
Yeah,
that's
we got a
yeah,
couple of those this weekend.
yeah, buddy.
Couple
You
of
know,
them.
but as far as flavor, did you see that video Deer Meat for Dinner did when he said, "Yep, tastes just like a Florida crab." I mean, it's
Yeah,
the same species. You know, it
I know.
shouldn't taste the same.
Well, I'm going to give. I did ask him if he wanted to. I think I was telling you. I did ask him. I asked him if he came up to Maryland, if he wanted to. Hey, he's one of the biggest outdoor channels there is. And
Absolutely.
and I stopped by. And I mentioned to him if he wants to come by to take him trout lining. Well, I'm not going to say anything about the Pennsylvania guys, but I guess he knew these guys. He knew these guys. They brought him. So the guys in Pennsylvania brought him down to Maryland to crab, which is the trout line, and was fine. But then he took them back to PA, and I guess they ate them the PA way because when we eat them, I think they clean the inside out and all that stuff. And I mean, you got to come to Maryland to eat the Maryland way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
steaming them, the whole thing with us in steaming, a lot of people say, well, don't get inside. Well, when we steam our crabs, the old school way, use regular plain vinegar with a beer and some water. Now, a lot of people, especially me, I use apple cider vinegar um, with the beer and the water. And I think a lot of times we might put a little bit of seasoning in the water itself to
Mm-hmm.
kind of get that. But a lot of the flavor from the steam's going to get into the crab,
Sure.
when you're
They do.
steaming.
Mm-hmm.
And but a lot of people don't realize is that JO that's on the top of it. Every time you start opening up and you're playing with the crab, you're just getting all the seasoning on your hands. So
Yeah.
as you're picking the meat, that's where a lot of you're not only you're getting that sweet, flaky meat, but you're actually using the JO seasoning and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of people go wrong and thinking that why you steam them on the outside. I think most of the flavor is from the steaming with the vinegar and the beer. And
Yeah. It definitely adds to it for sure. Yeah, I showed that on my video. Like when I turned that one crab over to his boiled and pulled it off, man, it had pretty good bit of what I call liquid gold in the bottom of it that you can dip your crab meat into. And the steamed, I compared it, it only had like 1/3 of the amount, but it tastes just the same, you know. But it's only because when you boil a crab, he'll actually sink and suck up all that water as much as it can hold, and they sink to the bottom. You let them hang out for about 25 minutes, and they get all that flavor directly on that meat. I had one guy argue me in comments, and it's not possible for them to absorb that. I'm like, bull crap. I said they're floating like boats until you get that water cooled off, and they're
right,
just like crawfish. They're going to sink as they start flooding, you know. And somebody asked a question earlier about how can you get flavor on your claws? Well, like them Dungeness crab I showed you earlier, I cracked the claws before they ever went to the pot to get that flavor in them because it is hard to get seasoned water into the claws. You
hmm
know, it's really hard to get flavor into them. But if you crack them before you put them in there, then yeah. Which I ice my crabs down, which makes them go dormant. They're not dead. A lot of people swear they're dead. I'm like, they're not dead. They're cold, you know. And you can take a pair of them crackers like I got, clack clack, throw them in there. You know, they're gonna get flavor in that as well. But
the
I'll be honest with you, man. Ever since I started steaming, that's my preferred way now. Unless I'm doing a shrimp boil and I want to add crabs in it, then I'm doing them boiled because it's just makes more sense. My goodness, thank you, Gail.
yeah,
Wow, thank
yeah.
you.
I made a good amount of money on some stocks recently, so I may well splurge. Hey, thank you. I don't know who this goes to, but it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah,
I appreciate you doing that. That's pretty awesome.
heck yeah.
Thank you. You got any stock tips? No, because I could retire
I,
soon.
I've got my chat popped out on YouTube and I'm seeing it there, but that don't mean nothing. I don't know
It doesn't matter.
which channel are you on, Gail? Because this is being broadcast through his and mine at the same time. I've never done that before. That's pretty cool that you can do that.
What's that?
That
Yeah.
you
So
Yeah, you set the live up and everything, but you invited me to share on my platform as well. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I was watching a lot of videos on StreamYard to and that's the system I'm using is StreamYard. And there's a lot of things. I mean, I made it, like I said, I made the background. I mean, you can make it and bring it in and you can use it. Here's my original. I had somebody make this for me. This is my, so bear with me for a second. It's only 15 seconds, but I had a guy make this for me and a wife. And this is my like an intro I would use sometimes on my videos.
Yeah, I love that.
Ain't that
Did you make that or have somebody make
No,
that?
I had somebody. No, I had somebody made that for me. That was I. I use that a lot of times. Some people say don't use intros, and you only should do a small intro. But I think you pop that one up. That probably somebody don't mind watching it for 15 seconds.
Yeah. I used to have that intro. I play with the one that you showed earlier. That was one of them. Every now and then I'd recreate it, but use the same music. And I did that for God, probably 4 or 5 years. And as things started changing and people got less and less patience, I ended up getting away with it because that intro lasted 40 seconds, But
Yeah, a lot of they said do the intro, and now here this is the YouTube stuff here. Don't do an intro. This blah blah blah. It all depends. I mean,
yeah, it does.
yeah, I mean, let me see. It's saying what part of Maryland are you? I am from. So where I'm at, I live on the eastern shore of Maryland right now, but I am from Dundalk. My wife goes, "Oh, you just told people." um, they
Hey,
call me a chicken necker down here because I'm from the western shore. I've been down. How long we been down here? 13, 14 years now. Almost 15 years. It's now I am not a chicken necker anymore. I am now an officially no. They just it's funny. It's funny. It's down there. They told that don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody you're from the shore, from the western shore. I'm like it's crazy. The But I live so one of the famous rivers down here that is really well known for some big giant crabs, and that is called the Wye River. So it is Russ or Russ. Still trying to figure it out. I think it's Russ with two
it's
S's, right?
technically Russell with, 2 S's. I shorten it to Russ. And there's a long story behind that, but I just thought it would look cooler to have 1 S instead of 2. That's the truth. Hey, it's whatever you want to call me. Russ with 2 S's, Russ with 1, or Rusty. All my
Rusty.
life, people call me Rusty for short, for Russell. But I was named after my dad. He was his middle name was Russell, which Russell means red-headed man, and my father was red-headed, and I never was. So it fit him. It didn't necessarily fit me. I had dark hair. Well,
Oh,
not no more, but I turned blonde somewhere along the way, man. I don't know what happened.
that's me clicking on you. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Well, don't do it so quick. Let's read it because I'm reading it. So I'm looking at the comments too. So I got my wife over there and I said, hey, make sure you go ahead and click on the comments, so people can see the comments. And I'm as soon as I click it, she's clicking it and I'm clicking her off. It's funny. That's
Glenn
how
and yeah, it's raining right now. We finally got some good rain. I mean, hard. It's like heck yeah. Let's see, what is it? I finally got a decent amount here in College Park. Oh, you're right next door, man. Gulfport. I'm right here in Biloxi.
yeah. The so if you got any barbecue questions in here too, I mean, he's been doing it from just sticking it to the old school wood smoker to what's that? What's that new one you're using now?
Oh, hickory.
Yeah, you got that real big one. You can put all kind. You actually had the flat top on there not too long ago.
Uh, oh, you talking about the pits and spits flat top
Yeah,
grill?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a pits and spits. But the actual smoker, the newest smoker I got is a old hickory Ultra Q. Love that thing.
Is it? You still got? Is it just straight wood, or is it propane, or is it
It can
both?
it's propane assist, which fires up your wood and gets your wood burning, and
Hmm.
then the gas kicks off. But as the temperature drops any, it'll fire up, and I swear it only runs like 3 or 4 seconds, right back out. Keeps that wood going. It like rekindles it when it needs to. Or you can put in a firebox, you can just turn the gas off altogether and put charcoal in there and wood chunks like those type smokers. But I prefer that gas wood combination, man. You talk about laying some smoke on some meat. I love it. Can't wait to use it again. I might be using it next Monday. Don't know yet.
Do you know what a bacon explosion is?
Sounds good.
A
Sounds
bacon
good.
explosion?
Yeah, yes, I can he must be answering. Maybe he's answering somebody else.
Yes, I can barbecue. I love to. Oh, I missed
Well,
it.
I'm talking. Does Russ like watching and learning from Malcolm? What the hell is Malcolm Reed? Oh, from Barbecue Pit Boys.
Does Russ like watching learning? I like watching Malcolm. I've been watching Malcolm a long time. I actually got to meet him a couple of years back, and but I've been on YouTube as long as Malcolm has, or close to it. I think what's helped Malcolm out so much is he does competition barbecue, so you know he's got a pretty good reach.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, you do it. Make sure if anybody's asking Russ any questions, click on it for me.
Good.
My love.
You can handle it.
One of my favorite videos was one you smoking a brisket. I was watching it like 1 a.m. BA time and had to get up and eat some deli ham.
That's all I had.
That's good. That means I did my job getting you hungry.
What's that? Yes, Ben. What did you talk about? Tofu or something? He's talking with somebody else.
Yeah.
So I made a mistake the first time I actually tried to use an upright smoker. Can you click on it while I'm talking? That way I don't have to because I'm losing. So what I did was I thought that every time you had to keep the temperature going, I thought that I would have the little the starter, the wood starter or charcoal starter, you know what I mean? You put it in there and you light it from the bottom to get it all started. So every time it went down, I was firing up another one of those. I went through so much charcoal and I had so much ash left over. You know what I mean? Didn't
Yeah.
realize
All
that
you
all
got
you
to
had.
do, you start your first batch in a chimney, pour it in there, then don't let it burn completely out. While you still, if you need to add more charcoal while your pit is still going, just pour you some in there, spread it out. It'll get caught too, And depending on which kind of smoker and how long. Now I'll tell you something else. I've got a video out, beginner's guide for Weber smokers. A Weber kettle is probably one of the most common, most purchased and paid for type grills out there. So a lot of people smoke with them. And on that video, I showed how to do the snake method, wrap it around to where you can burn for long enough to do most things, without having to restoke it. Your meat's indirect, your charcoal's over here banked off all the way around. You light it on one end, you put your dome on there, and you just let it slowly burns like a wick. You know what I'm saying? And you dial in the temperature with your upper vent, your lower vent. It'll last literally like that. You probably get 8 hours. You might have to restoke it for a brisket. I know you would probably.
So what's one question? So what is being from Mississippi and down south, gumbo or jambalaya?
Gumbo for me.
Why?
I like
Why?
them both. It's just better. It's more flavorful. I love gumbo, man. It's one of my favorites. I was thinking about gumbo earlier.
How many of them do you have on your channel videos?
Gumbo?
Mhm.
I've got a rabbit and sausage gumbo. I've got one that's seafood gumbo that's probably 9 years old. That video's over 800 something thousand. Then last year I did that 30-minute gumbo with Keith Jenkins showing Uncle Larry's gumbo in a jar. Man, that's some
Mhm.
good stuff. And I've thought about bringing or redoing a gumbo this year because it's been a while since I've actually done it for my channel with me doing it from scratch. Last year I did one, but it was for another channel. I did it for El Yucateco hot sauces.
Mhm.
And you can see that video on their website or their YouTube channel. But is a
I go
chicken
to
and sausage gumbo.
I go to a lot and watch some barbecue stuff, especially if I want a review on a smoker. Because like I said, we have the pit balls. We're low. The pit balls we got is the 1600 pit balls. It's just a pellet smoker,
Yeah.
but it's one of the fastest smokers that I've had to light up. I mean, it almost takes less than a minute. Usually it takes them sometimes a while to get lit up.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Yeah.
actually one of the fastest one, and it's actually been really, really good. It come, huh?
The wife is
Oh, the wife. It's the wife's pit balls.
right.
It's not Sam's pit ball. It's the wife's pit balls.
Lori's pit balls.
But it actually came with a flat top. You know, a griddle. It came with a griddle. So we got rid of the Blackstone, and I just seasoned it and griddled it on there and I just put some back straps on that thing, and that turned out really good. I mean, I was thinking about smoking the whole tenderloin or back strap,
Yeah.
but I thought it'd just be a little quicker if I put it in little medallions, and it did it. Hey man, my wife won't eat deer. She won't eat fish.
Really?
She won't eat no fish.
Wow.
But
I love
but
fish.
but she'll
Pork butt.
but she'll eat tuna fish in a can.
Hey, we're doing ribs.
We're doing ribs. She'll eat tuna fish in a can, but won't eat stuffed flounder with crab meat.
I tell you what, dude, go buy some yellowfin tuna and smoke it yourself on your smoker and bring it up to about 140 degrees internal, you know, or like you would a steak, maybe a little bit lower. Don't want to dry it out because it does dry out rapidly. And make her a smoked tuna dip from scratch. I got a couple of them on my channel. If she likes canned tuna, she gonna love that. I promise you.
Yeah,
Good
she
stuff.
won't. She won't even try, dude. Russ, I brought fresh flounder. I mean, I brought fresh fluke from up north flounder, and we took just a regular Maryland style crab cake. I stuffed it, baked it in the oven. It was so good. She wouldn't even try it. Come home. I came that same day, the day before when I actually brought the fish home, she was eating a sandwich of tuna fish, no mayonnaise. What do you put on it?
Salt, pepper, lettuce, and tomato.
Salt, pepper, lettuce, tomato, no mayonnaise. That's how she goes. I don't like the fish because the other fish because it smells fishy.
You just eat it.
That's it. See, it don't make no sense. I don't get it. I don't
Now, I
understand.
will admit this: if I go into a seafood restaurant and ordered a fried seafood platter where they got shrimp, they got fried oysters, they got crab cakes, they got hush puppies, then they always got fish on there, and they got French fries. Well, the fish is the last thing I eat because I like the other stuff better, but I do
Mhm.
love fish. It's just I save that for the end. Or a lot of times I'm stuffed and I got to bring some of it home. I'll eat it the next day, reheat it in the oven, you know.
He's burning. There's somebody saying hi to you. That is Mountain Moon Adventures.
Oh, that's MMA. How you doing, MMA? Hello, Mr. Russ. Just stopped in the show. Sport can't stay, but come back. Laugh
Oh,
loud. I'm
God darn it!
trying.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was reading it on the other side anyway.
No
I've got
mayo. There's
I've got
somebody.
my chat popped up on the side here. So I may
Okay,
just
I'm
be-
sorry. I don't want to. When you're reading, I don't want to sit down there and go, oh,
Yeah,
while you're reading it.
right.
I want to thank everybody for coming in. I really appreciate it. If you would like the video on each one of us would be great. That helps the channel out. You know, when you get a lot of likes and you get a lot of comments, sometimes they'll push some other content of yours
Yep.
to other people. Like if you're watching on YouTube and maybe one of my videos would pop up. If you do like watching crabbing videos, me and the wife have we have plenty of crabbing videos. We have a lot of crabbing recipes. Something is, I mean, we got crabbies. I forgot what did they have in there we made? It had some certain kind of cheese. The one we got from Scott. Crabbies, soft shells. I mean, we've done our share of some because we put so much crab meat away that we find different ways to try to use it during the winter time.
Yeah. I've recreated your Maryland style soup, or what do you
cream
call
of
that?
crab.
Cream of crab. Yeah, Maryland cream of crab. That's good
Really
stuff,
good
man.
Man, I love that stuff. That's I think the cream cheese. I think the cream cheese is what does for me. I think the secret's in that. That
Yeah,
makes it so that gives it that really creamy
yeah.
taste. I got the video of that if guys want to check that out, how to make the cream of crab that I make. And I'll tell you honest truth, I never made it before. Okay. And so I actually, now this was a while back. I actually went on YouTube to find a cream of crab recipe. There was only 3 recipes that I could find. And the girl that I grabbed, she only has one video on YouTube, and that's cream of crab. And that's her recipe that I
Ah,
took.
okay.
She was actually doing a video. So Paula Dean from when she was on the Food Channel was having a contest for Philadelphia cream cheese. So she was actually using Philadelphia cream cheese in the crab soup to try to win whatever she was trying to win. It was a contest.
Yeah.
And that's the recipe I got. So you might find her. She's sitting on a pole. She's at the she's here in Maryland. It was the Aberdeen Fire Department. So at the fire department, they have a big giant kitchen in there, and she actually uses that kitchen for catering and stuff. So that's her recipe. I actually stole her recipe. And this was a long time ago. She only has that one video out.
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, you just clicked on it. I'm sorry, honey.
I was reading that. Oh, wait a minute. Russ, please tell me your, let's see. Outdoors Maryland Russ, please tell me your thoughts on red wire crab pots versus black wire crab pots. I have heard the red attracts more crabs. Thoughts? I've never heard that. You saying?
We don't we like the straight steel pots. So the little, see, I don't use big. All right. So down where you're at, and a lot of, you only here if you're commercial, you can use the big. Is he talking about that, like the big square pots? Because if he's
I
talking
think
about the
he's
big
talking
square
about just a wire crab traps, like the normal, like a commercial or residential too. Residential people can use those big crab pots that's
Mhm.
got the door there where you shake them out and have the little compartment for the bait and everything. I'll have to
So
ask Grant Foster that. Grant Foster, he lives in this area, and I bought some crab traps from him, small ones for the sailboat back when I had it, and his is like colored with that vinyl or whatever on the wire. I would have to ask him if there's anything to that. I've never heard that before.
well, so what I can tell you is that for here we use for if you own a place on the water where you can crab, you can use 2 big crab pots. I have no idea which is better, but for me, when we use our crab traps, which is like a 12 by 12 crab trap, they're topless. We can stack them inside each other. I like to steal. They actually have some that's got like a rubber coating around the whole trap. For some reason, we don't. I don't like them too
Now,
much.
are you talking about that one you got that folds down whenever it hits the bottom?
Yeah, the little tiny
Okay.
ones. When you drop down, all 4 doors open up on the
Right.
bottom.
We have those, but they're round and they have like cotton webbing. The netting part
Yeah,
is like cotton or whatever, and they got 2 wire rings. And when you bait them and they go down to the floor, the outer part just it flattens out. In other words, crabs crawl on there. We check them every 15 minutes. Pull it up, you got 2 or 3 crabs in there. But a crab pot is completely enclosed. Well, you know what a crab pot is. Y'all use them
yeah,
too, right? Okay.
yeah. We got the crab pots up here, but recreational, you can use them in Delaware. The only time we can use them is if you actually own property on, a river. If you actually got your own pier, you can set them off of.
Yeah.
Now so never heard of using a trout line up here. Yeah, if I got a couple of videos of it, we've done some trout lining. I got a couple of videos with me trout lining with my commercial friend. That's how they do it. You have 2 different kind of commercial. The potters, which is actually using the big pots like you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I think theirs are pretty much straight steel. I don't think they have them coated at all. Not coated at all. I think they're plain steel because I know they stick them in boiling water. You have FV Miss Paula. FV Miss Paula is another YouTube channel. He does commercial crabbing. CJ it seems like a really awesome guy. They got a really good, he can show you the commercial side of using pots. I show you the commercial side of using the trot line for crabbing. Now the potters cannot come up into the rivers to pot. They got to be out in the bay.
Okay.
And the trout liners, which like you're not going in the bay. They pretty much are up in all the rivers and stuff like that. The saltwater rivers that come up. We have a lot of brackish water. I can actually catch crabs literally not even 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
But it's more brackish and fresh, and we don't think the crabs taste so well.
Yeah. Yeah, we got brackish water here. Once you leave like the shore and move inland, of course you got waterways going up, rivers and whatever. And I would say probably the first 20 miles inland is kind of brackish. Of course, the closer you get to the south, the saltier it's going to be. But we have caught brim, shell cracker, and bass, and then turn right around and catch a sheephead. Blue crabs run around the banks. It's mixed, and it's pretty wild, really. Thank you, Gail. I just read a comment you did too. She goes, "I have frozen whole cooked crab and it reheats quite well." Yes, it does. Matter of fact, if you catch crabs, you better cook them before you freeze them because they turn real milly. If you try to cook them from a frozen state, go ahead and completely cook them where you steam them, boil them, whatever. Let them cool down, and I'll put them in like you can vacuum pack them or even Ziplocs, freeze them, and when you get ready to eat them, take them out, let them thaw out to pretty much room temperature to where they're not solid frozen. Put about that much water in a pot on top of your stove and let that steam reheat them. It'll taste just about as good as it did the day you cooked them. Ain't much difference.
We could do that here too. So I can give you a little tip. So if you so me and a wife will get some crabs and maybe you put them in the refrigerator so you just steam some crabs. And so you didn't eat them all, and then you got them in your refrigerator and you pull them out maybe 3 or 4 days later. What you could do if you want to set it back up, you can set your steam pot up pretty much the same exact way as you would with the vinegar and water and everything. You probably might not have to do all that, but if you boil it, you only got to actually steam them for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, just to heat them through.
Yeah, just to heat them back up. You can steam them for about 5 minutes, and then it's almost like you just steamed them.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And we went to Gulf Shores, Alabama one time. I'll never forget this. And we didn't have anything to crab with, but I was with a couple. It was me and my wife, not the one I got now, but another wife that I used to have. Anyway, we went over this bridge right there at Gulf Shores, and look, man, that water was crystal clear. And we noticed this guy taking a dip net, and he was just scooping up crabs left and right, blue crabs, and he was getting stone crabs and breaking one claw off. And so we ran down to a souvenir store. And we bought a dip net, a pair of flippers, and a mask, and an ice chest. We didn't even have an ice chest with us. And the guy I was with, he got in the water, and he kept scooping up these crabs and handing them to me. Man, I had that whole ice chest filled up in no time. And it got so heavy, being a styrofoam ice chest, I picked it up, and the handle broke, and it dumped almost all the crabs back in the water. And I swear within 10 minutes, he had them all gathered back up again. Coolest day ever.
What do you say, baby?
It said, Russ, how many wives do you have?
How many wives do you have? Who the hell said that?
Well, I only got one currently, but I've had 3 other ones. Guess I'm hard to get along with.
Oh, good grief. Now, I think somebody asked a question earlier about a lot of guys down here. I don't know if it's October. It was weird because the wife kind of freaked out. So this time we were actually getting ready to pick a trap up, and all of a sudden, right across, as she was picking the line up, right across swam blue crabs swam right by, and they're fast, man. They are fast.
Oh yeah.
So you can actually dip them. So you can actually go to you can go somewhere where they actually got pylons, like a pier or anything like that. And sometimes you can sit there and them crabs, especially if they're coming in, you can actually scoop them right off the pylons.
Oh yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Scoop them right off the pylons.
I'll be honest with you. Most of the crabbing I've done, it's always been off a pier. you know, we just load up the car with some crab nets and stop by the store, get some chicken necks. If I can, they're hard to find nowadays, but chicken anything works. And sometimes we actually have frozen fish that we thought, or you know, put in the freezer just for crabbing purposes or whatever. But haven't done it in a while though. Put them on a cookie sheet with water in the bottom and a wet towel on top. Works pretty good for reheating. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sleepy part. You know, oh, you know what? I do got to mention something to you. So I drive about an hour to work, and as I'm going to work, and what it's crazy, you put a live stream up and then you deleted it. I wanted to listen to it on the way into work. But Sleepy Barbecue had you on, and you guys started talking about music.
Hmm.
And one of your things that you said that I remember is that you wish you would have seen Queen.
Yeah. I wish I would have.
So my very first, now I don't remember pretty much anything of it because I was so young, but my very first concert here in Maryland was Queen with Toto actually opening up for him.
Oh man. Good gracious. Heck yeah.
It was, yeah, you know, and the problem was back then, I can't remember how old I was. I was so young. My uncle took me. Unfortunately, you know, bless his heart, he passed away. He took me, and all I remember, Russ, is here. You know, I'm sorry, I don't do any drugs anymore, and
Before we never did.
Anymore.
no, no, but you know, you would all of a sudden you would have something to drink, and you would pass along, and then there'd be a you know something to inhale, and you pass it by. It just talk about you know just some pot, you know, somebody smoking pot, and you would smoke, and you know, and I was young. I mean, this had to be mid 70s.
Yeah.
I don't think it was in 80s, mid 70s. So yeah, that was my first concert ever, was going to see Queen.
How old are you, Sam?
56.
Okay. I'm about
56 years old.
I'm 8 years older than you. Yeah, you were
Old.
young in the 70s. I was young in the 70s, but you were real young in the 70s for sure.
It had to, but it had to be I would say I was probably 13.
In 76?
No, I don't know what year it was. I can't remember what year it was. I could probably figure out when, you know, what concert did Toto open up for Queen, and maybe get a good idea when.
Like 80,
Yeah, Toto was
82.
I don't know what it seemed like I would be. Maybe I was a little bit older than I thought. Maybe I was in like 15 or years. I don't know. I don't.
Toto came out in the early 80s.
Yeah, I know that he came out. Well, so was Queen. Queen was out a long time ago.
Since the 70s, but you know.
Yeah, but that was I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you that I
You're still wet behind the ears.
Yeah. Used to get stuff. Enjoy live
I
show.
see.
I appreciate Joe. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm thinking about maybe doing this once in a while. The food stuff. I want to pick Russ's brain on more, you know, because he's just his food. I mean, if you watch any of his stuff, it's just what I like about Russ is that he makes it even though something as difficult as anything, if it's really difficult, even if it's difficult, or maybe it has more procedures to do, he just makes it in such a way that anybody could follow. You know, and he makes it easy. That's why
I can do it. Anybody can do it because I'm not a trained chef or anything. Things I know is things I've learned. You know, just that simple. But I was just seeing. Joseph Shaw. That'd be Joey Shaw. He just coming. I subscribe to Sam from Outdoors in Maryland and Gail's food, music, and stuff. Enjoyed the live show. Thanks. You're welcome, Joey. Good seeing you, man. Appreciate you popping in here.
Thank you very much. Gal's Food and Music. She has a YouTube channel. Gal's Food, Music, and stuff.
Yeah, she does. She
right,
I've watched some of her videos with her eating blue crab. That's like one of her favorite things on earth. You know, mine too. But she's done a few videos actually just showing the crabs and then making me jealous because she's eating them, and I wish I had some.
Well, I have talked to the wife, and I think I got the permission, and now we just gotta figure out. Yeah, probably not. Shut up. I am going to do my best to try to make my way down towards Russ, and either we're going to try to figure something to do. I've been trying to send. I haven't been fishing so much, But I have lately. But this last couple of months and last year, I really wanted to send Russ. Right now, we have a fish up here that people are going cuckoo over. They love this fish. It's an ugly fish, but it's really good eating. It's called a snakehead, a northern snakehead. It was introduced. It's from Asia. Um, it's got a lot of teeth, and it's when you pull it out of the water and you want to cook it, it's one slimy, nasty outside fish, but the inside is really, really good. And I've been really trying to get him up here where I know there's a lot of bigger snakeheads. The bow fishermen have been out, because it's an invasive species.
Yeah.
So we're trying to control them. And I think the bow fishermen down here are really kind of keeping a good control uh, on the snakeheads. But I swear you're going to get one. I'm going to send you one. And I
That'd
think
be
you're going
cool,
to be
man.
very, very, very surprised on how good this fish is.
Yeah,
And I did it.
if you can get it to me shipped in dry ice and it gets here frozen, that way I can kind of get the fish and then plan out how I want to do it. I just, you know what I'm saying? That way it's
Yeah.
rock hard when it gets here. You was talking about ugly looking. Do y'all have triple tail up there where you're at?
Triple tail? No, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
I think I heard of it.
it's a delicious fish, but it looks prehistoric. And you just have to Google it to see. It's ugly, but man, that's a fine eating fish. Triple tail.
Triple tail. No.
They're very elusive too. You have to kind of they hang around like grass and stuff, like lines of grass out in the ocean, and they'll get up under there and they'll get around buoys and stuff. They're very elusive to catch, but they're excellent, excellent eating.
Yeah. Damn, Russ, we've been talking. I didn't realize we've been on here an hour and a half.
Yeah, we sure have.
That kind of flew by, man. I like I said, huh?
You still got everybody on here.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I appreciate everybody sticking around. So if ever, what's your go-to? I mean, now we're going to get into a little bit, we'll get into the two different things. Just asking questions. What's your go-to seafood? And maybe what is your go-to, if you wanted to smoke something, what's probably your favorite, or what's your favorite, pork, beef, or shrimp, crabs,
Oh man.
or crawfish?
Yeah, God, man, that's always a hard question for me because I love so many things. You know what I'm saying? Is I would put seafood above anything else as far as my favorite. You know, whether it be shrimp, blue crab, oysters, I love them all. Love fish. I love deep sea fish like mahi and grouper. Inshore fish would be speckled trout, flounder, redfish, that sort of thing. But it's hard to call a favorite. I just like so many things, you know. It just depends.
What would you think? Can you grab me that other beer for me, darling? Like I said, I'll bring this up again. I am drinking. This is a barrel aged beer. I don't know if you can see that.
Peanut butter cup, huh?
Peanut butter cup. This is a barrel aged beer. This is aged in whiskey barrels. This is about a 10%. It's 10% alcohol on this thing. It's really good. Like I said, I don't drink that much, but when I do, I just drink slowly and I sip this. There's my beautiful wife.
I don't know if you can see me, but
Yeah, I'm like
36 years.
we got a couple stores up the road that are just beer stores. That's all they sell is all these different labels. I'm like to go in there and see if I can find some of that barrel beer that you was telling me about.
I keep trying to talk you into go ahead and brewing a beer or brewing a wine. A wine. The wine might be simpler. Me and her were actually thinking about talking about I did a beer on the channel just because it was wintertime. It was really cold, and I figure I'll make something, and I went and I brewed a coconut porter, coconut beer. It actually turned out pretty good. But we're thinking about doing wine, and the wine is basically you pour it into a bucket, you add the yeast, and you let the yeast pretty much do everything. And one batch will make anywhere from 28 to 30 bottles of wine.
Wow.
Averaging about 8 to 10% alcohol. It's about the average of what you'll make. You won't get the high end like you do in the stores, but
yeah,
they're great to give for gifts. You know, you ain't got to think hard. Just give everybody a wine.
My dad, man, he used to make some wonderful wine years ago. You know, he's been passed away now for years, but he really got into it. He grew scuppernines. He had a scuppernine arbor, and every
What's
year he
that?
would make wine with that. It's a
What's that?
type of a scuppernine. It's kind of like I would say it's a type of grape, I guess, but they're called scuppernines.
Okay.
Yeah, Buzz Barbecue, Maryland Russ. They use wooden mallets to crack their claws. Yeah, I've got a.
Yeah.
Hang on a second, and I'll show it to you. Let me stop my cam here real quick.
Smoked beer.
Smoked
What
beer.
happened to him? What happened to him?
He's going to be right back.
Oh,
Russ will be right. He's going to go get his mallet. The one mallet the guy had, he actually had a mallet with a bottle opener in it. Remember that? Ain't that crazy? Russ, have you ever made the crab soup online here? Yeah, I think he made my cream of crab soup. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah, how Russ did me a great favor to try it because he said he was really interested in the crabbing videos when we were trout lining. But he actually did a video on the recipe that I had for cream of crab. You definitely should check that out. I got a little net flying around me.
I bought these crab crackers a while back, a couple years ago, and the way this thing's made, it kind of comes to like a blade, but it's serrated. And when you clamp down on that claw, it cuts a perfect ring around it. You do it right above the joint, and you can sit there and wiggle it, pops right out. Those work good. I was reading that
What's
comment
that?
where people use like a mallet to crack the claws. That's what I use right there.
That's the Maryland way, baby.
That's
We use a mallet. We
yeah.
got the little knife the little tiny knife we use. What is that called? What's the hook for?
On this,
Yeah,
I guess a
skin of
bottle.
deer.
No, I guess it's a
Bottle
bottle.
opener.
But anyway, it's made by Toadfish. I paid like $40 for that thing. It's a good one.
Man,
Yeah, it works great. I used it not long ago.
yeah, we're the old school. We got them old cheap dollar mallets down here, and I use my little carver's knife for picking out the crab meat and everything like that. If you crack it right and get that whole claw.
I got my pants on, Lance. Well, I got short pants on.
That's why I had to go. That's why I had to go raw. He's sitting there with his underwear on. So we've been going on about an hour 40 minutes. Are you still good, Russ?
Oh yeah, I'm good, man. Us guys, when we go live, I swear, I went live not long ago, and I didn't intend on doing it. I only want to go live for like 2 hours. Next thing I know, we're 11 hours into that live, and I end up deleting it, which I delete most of the ones I do. I don't delete them all. I won't delete this one. But I think the reason I do that, I am so convinced that these live feeds, and when I do them on my channel, they hurt my videos, my regular videos, because it screws up the algorithm. Because
really?
Yeah, and the reason I say that, if you leave it up, there's people going to come back and watch maybe the first 10, 15 minutes. They're out. So it shows a very low retention rate. And I don't know that it does it. To me, it seems like the first 2 videos I do after that just stink, And if I don't do lives, they tend to do better. So
that's the carver knife. That's the Maryland original carver knife right there.
Okay.
It's called it is actually a crab knife, all pretty with crab stuff on there.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, we used to use a lot too, if we didn't have crab crackers, is the backside of a butter knife. That just pop them like that, pop it right open.
I got 2 new. We got 2 new. So back in September, I had to put my buddy down. He was only 7, going on 8 years old. I had to put him down. It was just sad to see. So I was very upset about that. And I said, no more dogs. Yeah, okay. No more dogs. No more dogs. And we do have, except for our Daisy that's left. Daisy, she is our 180-pound Saint Bernard in the other room.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know. We're used to having at least 3 dogs in here at all times, and it got kind of it was pretty quiet in here, wasn't it? And for some crazy reason, instead of just getting 1 chocolate lab pup, I got 2 chocolate lab pups, and I don't know.
Oh, we got all females now.
Redfish and trout soon. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be redfish and trout. Or as far as inshore fishing, around late October, November, man, you can kill them around here.
Yeah, like I said, I am heading to Virginia. I think to the Rappahannock River, and we are going for redfish this weekend. We're supposedly going dove hunting. That's not a for sure thing yet, but I think we're going to go dove hunting Saturday, and Sunday we're going to go and do some red fishing. If we go dove hunting, then it's going to be a good catch and cook. We're going to do some jalapeno poppers with some bacon and cream cheese. That's a pretty simple, well-rounded thing. And then redfish. What would you suggest for redfish?
Blackened redfish. Do you have a griddle?
Yep.
That's all you need, and some good blackening seasoning and butter. That's all you need.
Butter. I like butter and Old Bay.
Yeah.
Butter and Old Bay.
What was that? Oh, you was talking about dove. I used to dove hunt years ago. I haven't in a long time, but we used to go and get all these doves, clean them up, had the dove breasts, and I'd make a dove gumbo. That was
really
good. Yeah, you make it like you'd make a chicken gumbo, But yeah, man, that was excellent. Great way to use dove up.
And you actually just did something with turtle. You actually just did a turtle.
Yeah, that was
super.
Snapping turtle sauce piquant, but it's really like a turtle soup, but in Louisiana they call it sauce piquant. I'm not from Louisiana, but I'm real close. I'm 30 minutes from the state line,
Yeah, I'm hoping to make a trip down there and then come down and see you, and maybe we could do something with crabs. I don't care. Well, actually, I wouldn't. You know what I would really like is actually do a boil and show me how it's really done.
Okay, yeah, we definitely.
It doesn't matter. It could be crawfish. It could be crabs. It can be. I don't care. It doesn't matter what. Garlic shrimp pasta, man. That's our favorite. You did. That's one of the videos that we like the most. You did on your. I think it was about 9 years ago.
If you want something really good, Sam, look at that Viet Cajun shrimp boil I did. And I put crabs in that too. Blue crab and shrimp. I did them. It was in a small pot, like a 30-quart pot. I did it a couple years ago, but look on my channel for Viet Cajun. God, I'd have to look at the title, but it's a Viet Cajun shrimp and crab boil, I reckon. It is what you would call it. But if you like garlic and butter and all that, man, you need to make that. Butter. You will love it. I promise you. Do everything I did, and you're gonna love it. There ain't no way you can't love it. I'm telling you, it is just unreal. It is that good.
Good grief, Matt. So we have crawfish up here, but not in abundance like Louisiana, I would think. But I'm sure you can catch plenty of them up here in the small rivers and stuff.
I don't know if they're the same species or not, but they could be. I don't know. I'm just speculating,
I think we have an invasive species of a crawfish up here in Maryland. It's amazing how invasive species come in here. Right now, the big one. So this year, look at some videos, because one of the videos I have is I call it a 41-pound blue catfish, and right now the blue cats here in Maryland are a big issue, a really big issue. They're invasive. They were put into the waters in like the 70s in like Virginia, and now they are everywhere on the Chesapeake Bay. And I
was thinking, Gail.
Thank you, Gail. They are everywhere, and they get up to, my buddy's caught one close to 70 pounds. Like the one that I have, the video, if you want to look on the channel, I have one that's about 41 pounds, and that's rod and reel. This year, I'm thinking about it. I'm going to do a little bit of commercial blue catfishing, and that's with a trot line. I never actually done that before. It don't look real hard to do, but these blue cats, you got to watch it. You can use net, but supposedly they can just tear the hell out of your nets, and these are very destructive fish.
Yeah.
But the wife's going to go out with me. I have to somehow. The best time to kind of catch these real big ones in the rivers or when it gets really cold out. We're talking 30, 40 degrees out. So I have to take my bimini top that's on my boat and actually kind of make an enclosed, like that plastic, that real thick plastic, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And try to enclose the area of my boat. That way we can put a heater in there for her.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I tell you what, it's been an hour and 41 minutes. And what's that?
Go to 9 o'clock. It's only 8:43.
Go to 9 o'clock. That's what the wife says. Go to 9 o'clock. We'll go to 9 o'clock. So,
Get a reaction, Sam.
Yeah, might as well.
that?
It's only 15 minutes away.
Direct Tech. We didn't spend a lot of money on our pit balls. The pit balls is it's been good to us. We're amateurs,
Oh.
we're amateurs, but the Rec Tech, I mean, we've looked at a couple of them, and so far we've kind of stuck with the pit balls. I know they've really upgraded a lot on their stuff. But this is for us, we're not like we're going to do some ribs tomorrow, or the wife is going to do ribs. I taught her everything I know.
Yeah, right.
And
Anyway, how are you on red crab soup, Sam? That's the wife's recipe. Go ahead and say.
what, the red crab soup?
Yeah.
Bad shocking. My wife, we got the recipe for that on board too, and hers is really good. It's not like hot. It's a little. The vegetable crab soup should be a little spicy. Do you think so, Russ?
Vegetable crab soup. I don't know that I've ever had that.
What?
I don't know that I've ever had that.
Spoiler alert: Russ will be doing Sam's vegetable crab soup soon.
Send me the recipe, man. I'll do it.
It's about the Russ is about the easiest recipe you're ever going to do, and you basically just stick it all in. You just throw everything into a pot, and the special ingredient that I think really tips it off is the spicy V8.
Yes.
Okay. Now I've made vegetable soup plenty of times. I got a really good recipe, but I haven't had crab vegetable soup. So there you go.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. It's
Okay.
pretty it'll be a short video, but it's definitely it's good, man. It's got just enough a little spice to it. People say who puts V8 in Maryland crab soup. Look, let me tell you what.
I use V8 in my vegetable soup recipe. I sure do.
Yeah. Do you use a spicy one?
Can't remember. It's been so long, but I can use it. I mean, if that's what it calls for. I love spice. I'm all about spice.
Yeah, might what did I say? Make your nose run a tiny bit, just a little bit. It's just a little spicy.
Yeah.
But it's not like
You're not gonna melt your face off or nothing.
It's not gonna melt your face off. But I'll send you the recipe. There you go. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned. Russ is going to be doing a vegetable crab soup.
There you go.
I'll probably wait till it gets a little bit cooler out.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much booked up into September. I know the things I got to get done and get them out of the way to where I can kind of get into what I really want to do. But
so I mean, we want to go off topic a little bit and talk about your favorite music to listen to. I'm interested. I know you're down south, and everybody thinks that you guys are, like listening to bluegrass or maybe some country. I mean, since you're Queen, I think you're probably a rock and roll guy.
I was born in '58, but I'm a product of the '70s, so naturally I like all the old hair bands and same stuff you listen to. I'm sure but I do like country as well. There's a lot of country artists I like. My parents, that's all they would listen to is country, so I had a lot of influence on all kinds of music. I was the baby of my family. Got two brothers. One's 10 years older than me, and the other one's 8 years older than me. I got two sisters. They're older than me. Yeah, they're a bunch of
Wow.
old people now, but I was surrounded around all this music. So, man, I'll listen to just about anything other than rap. I don't like rap.
No.
I just never have. I don't like that. It don't agree with me. It's to me, it's not music, but that's just me. Anybody else, they can listen to what they want to. I don't care. But
The
I like classic rock. I reckon would be my favorite, and some old country. Me and my wife lay there at bed some night, and she'll have her iPad, and she's sitting there playing music, and I'm sitting there thinking about other songs that I remember from years ago. I said, "Can you play this?" And she'll play that. Then I'll think of another one. Next thing you know, we done spent 2 hours listening to music on her iPad. Pretty cool.
what's that show that we'll put on every once in a while? It's called uh Saturday night. It's Midnight
The
Special.
Wolfman.
Midnight Special.
Wolfman Jack.
Yeah. So anybody want to go on YouTube and you just want to watch a bunch of this is going to be in the 70s, everything from Journey, Doobie Brothers, all the way to Gladys Knight and the Pips to um what's the guy it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
Mac Davis.
Mac Davis. So the Midnight Special was a thing that came on every Friday night, and Wolfman Jack actually hosted it.
And the Wolfman Jack show coming to you.
Go on YouTube. You can watch that. You can have hours of that stuff from just seals and crop. I mean, just some old stuff. It's really cool to go back and listen to that crap. It's that crap, but that's really good stuff. I mean, we sat here for hours.
We were on one of Sleeper Barbecue's lives here a couple of weeks ago, and we got on the subject of music, and the whole chat and everybody on the panel, we were just sitting there naming off songs. I'm like, it would take years to name everybody. There's so much music out there, and to me, music's kind of subjective to me, kind of like food is. Like, what's your favorite? I can't name one thing because I got so many favorites. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Now, things I can live without, I could probably name them off, but there's so much stuff I really like. But with music, same thing, man. It's endless,
Really yeah, we were listening to Diana Summers the other day. Donna.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Donna Summers,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Donna Summers, sorry.
I will survive. I were long enough, and I think that's her, ain't it?
No, it's we were listening to that because we'll put on. The wife will go out and she'll play music, and we'll put like 70s, or she'll just put disco music on for her mom. Yeah, for her mom. Yeah, right. But she'll sing every word to all the songs that come on.
Now,
like the Bee Gees.
Here's what's funny. Back in them days, I was anti anything to do with that. I was all about hair bands, rock and roll, and I didn't want none of that disco. But nowadays, I'll listen to it because it reminds me of that time and that era. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
It's hard to be humble. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to be humble. Matt Davis. That's what I was thought. I listened to him. I watched him on North Dallas 40. That was him in that football movie, North Dallas 40. I think that's what the movie's called. Him and
I don't know if you're old enough to remember his weekly show that he did, Mac Davis, back in the 70s. But at the end of it, he would just randomly think of a song and all the lyrics and the music. That cat was really talented. He was a heck of a songwriter. He wrote songs for Elvis, and I don't know who else, but he was really good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I maybe making people run off because we're talking about music, but I think everybody on here would like music. Like me. I do have another channel that I run, and it's a music channel, but it's more. As you can see, I got Metallica on my shirt. That's more of a metal kind of set. But you know what, Russ? I actually have a band. If you like that music, I tell you what, I have a band that has a brand new album out I've never heard on before. But it will give you a feeling of older Led Zeppelin. It'll give you the kind of familiar of like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. But I call it stoner music because it'll remind you that I'll actually send you that if you want to. You're sitting around and you want to drive and
Oh,
you're listening to it.
absolutely. You said stoner music. It made me think of Hank Williams III. I like his music too. Some of it I don't care for, but some of it I really like. But yeah, heck yeah, I can listen to all kind of things. But I instantly know if I like it or not. If I don't like it, I just don't like it. But most stuff I do like. It just depends on what it is.
I tell a lot of people. I show people, even though headbanger music. Gal's food. She was saying how she don't like headbanger music. There's some headbanger music I can send you that sounds really bluesy. That it's not all the Cookie Monster sounding singing, if you know what I mean by that. Sounds like Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Some
Now look at Lance. He's telling a big fib right there. Stoner music, aka I was too young to remember. No, you wasn't. You remember all that big band music from the 20s. I know you do, Lance. Oh man.
What's the band? I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out the name of the band. I only listened to
Thank
I
you,
listened
Gail.
through
My
the album real
goodness.
quick, and I've only seen it once, so I cannot remember the name of the band, but I'll send you Paulie. Paulie here, he's here, and that's who I am actually. Paulie, my man right there. That's who I'm going fishing with this weekend. I'm going to be hanging out with him. Like I
Oh,
said, we
okay.
might be going hunting. He needs to let me know soon before I go and spend the money for a hunting license. And before I go buy all the ingredients for the poppers, I'm going to make some jalapeno poppers down there. So if we
Check
don't,
that out. I'm sorry,
what's
I
that?
didn't mean to interrupt you. I see the
No,
White Boot Warriors in here. That's cool. I follow them on Facebook. You see them, White Boot Warriors? If y'all want to learn how to boil crab, come check us out. We something South Louisiana. Yeah, you have a South Louisiana page. I'm a member of that, or I like that page. Awesome. You ever
this guy
check them
here.
out?
Before I go, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying this guy. So I just want you to know that this guy has Richie Coaten and Adrian Smith. So Richie Coaten, his band right now is the Winery Dogs. That's with Mike Portnoy and bass player, for God's sake, who's bass player from David Lee Roth and what's his band? Bass player
Oh,
from Winery Dogs.
you talking about?
Not Billy Sheen. Yeah, Billy Sheen. Is it Billy Sheen?
Yeah, Billy Sheen.
No, it don't sound right. Billy Sheen.
Yeah,
Um, So Richie Coaten's a guitar player, and when he plays guitar, he plays with his fingers, which is kind of cool. He's got a great voice. That album he's talking about, you got Richie Coaten and Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith is the guitar player from Iron Maiden, and that they did an album that is just bluesy. I mean, some awesome singing. I mean, if anybody wants to just hear some really good guitar to singing, it's just really good
I would
blues.
like that, man. Anything bluesy like that, I would like.
Richie Coaten, Adrian Smith, you got to look them up. Now that is the guitar player, one of the original guitar players from Iron Maiden, and Richie Coaten. I think Richie Coaten, when did he fill in for Poison? When he in Poison?
No.
Or was it what was it
Poison.
yeah, he filled in for CC Downing when he was out of the band.
DeVille, you mean?
CC DeVille.
The Downing. You're talking about KK.
I'm sorry. KK Downing.
Jimmy
CC
Nelson says yes.
I don't think I don't think
so I'm sorry, I'm kind of got back, but that's a really, really good freaking music right there.
Jim Nelson, he used to call himself Jimmy Nelson on YouTube, but man, I've been knowing that guy for as long as I've had a channel. He's been following me for a very long time, and he actually won a contest I threw years ago. I can't even remember what all the prizes were, but he was the winner of that. That was pretty cool.
There you go. There's Bill Shakin Jr. Outdoors. Do not go longer than 12 to 15 minutes. Bright red into an ice bath immediately. He's telling you how he's steaming his crabs.
Remember your
See, he's got the
recipe
Obey.
video
He's not
on the ice bath. Yeah. That's. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just got something in.
No, the Old Bay in the water. You don't put nothing else on them. Just the Old Bay, just the Old Bay in the water. That's interesting. Never boil. Lobster and cube, steam baby, then ice baby bath.
Ice baby.
Yeah. The if I don't get, I'm trying to read all the comments as they come in, which is kind of cool. I still appreciate anybody that's sticking around from the beginning.
I tell you what, man, when I released that video, that boiled versus steamed, and at the end I couldn't draw a conclusion one way or the other because to me they're both good, you know. But behind the scenes, Derek, my son, he goes, "Man, them steamed crabs are good." I said, "Yeah, they are." That's the reason I keep doing it like that, you know, since then, because it's easier, it's faster, it's less expensive, and I'm like, damn, I never would have known unless I just did that comparison and tried it. But at any rate, you know, I found out Marylanders, boy, they went nuts on that video. It's like steam. Go in there one day and just read the comments. It's hilarious, you know. And I just got to where I sit back and like, y'all keep talking, man. That video is going up. That video is taking off. Heck yeah, keep commenting.
Gail Food, she looks like she's heading out. Thank you for stopping by. We really want to appreciate for all the super chats that you send us. That is,
yes, thank you.
That really is most appreciated. Thank you very much. Maybe me and Russ will get together and we'll talk about something else. Maybe I'll be with Russ down on one of his videos. That's what I'm hoping to do maybe this winter. So when it's snowing up here, I'm going to head down to Biloxi and leave my wife here with the puppies as I go down to Biloxi to let Russ cook some cool stuff.
You ain't got to worry about snow down here.
This is a family show. No middle fingers around here. So we're almost at 2 hours. So Russ, what I want to do is I don't want everybody to jump off real quick. This is Russ Jones from Smoky Ribs BBQ. If you really want to learn anything from barbecue to seafood to crabs to, I mean, he's done every different kind of technique you can imagine. He's been doing this for, what you say, 10 years you've been on YouTube?
Over 11 years now.
So he's got everything. Paul, I'll actually going to call you tomorrow, Paul. I'm glad you love me, man, but I don't go that way. I'm sorry. My wife won't let me. She says, no way, man. Bye. Bye. That's what she said.
Appreciate it, Clint.
I want to thank everybody for coming in. So I'm going to let Russ off because it's been about 2 hours, and I think we're just having fun, just bull crapping. I think we could probably sit here for another hour and just talk music.
Oh yeah, easily, man. That's what I said. These lives can get out of hand if you ain't careful. I've done it, man. It's like, holy crap, where did time go?
Actually, what I normally do at 9 o'clock tonight, I hate to send anybody to another channel, but they're my buddies. Usually every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. There's a channel that I watch there. It's called Glam and Drams, which they do a lot of whiskey, beer, and they talk music. So they do all three. That's called 21090. They come on about 9 o'clock, which is about a couple minutes. I usually watch them every Tuesday nights before I do stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to head over to Yes I Can Barbecue. He's going live he's live right now. He just went live at 8 o'clock. I'm just gonna hop over there. We get done here, hang out with some of the guys that I normally hang out with, and finish off the night.
You got it, buddy. So I want to thank you, Russ. I appreciate you taking the time, man, and coming and hanging out.
Yeah, man.
And like I said, I'm hoping to get down there. I want to make a trip. It's going to be a long. It's going to be probably a good 2-week trip for me because I want to go and hang out with Jarrett down in Louisiana and try my best to hang out with K Fred. See if we can get some hogs down there and maybe do a hog thing. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, he actually invited me to come shoot a video with him a couple of years ago, and matter of fact, Deer Meat for Dinner did, not lately, but way back in the day. He was like, man, you need to come and hang out, let's do some hunting, blah blah blah. And I'm like, God, I'd love to. I was working and all back then, I just couldn't arrange it, but I'd love to have done that. But yeah,
that's cool. Well, I tell you what, Again, thank you. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the live. And Russ, I will give you a quick call right afterwards. I'll tell you what, I'll call you tomorrow so you can go over and hang over to your other channel.
Okay.
And I appreciate you taking the time. I hope everybody really learned something. And you know what? Blue crabs taste great no matter which way. I still like steamed better because I don't know how to boil them. But maybe if I boil them, maybe I'll switch. Maybe I like boiled instead of steamed.
You get down here. I'm gonna go buy some crabs, and I'm gonna boil them, and so I might do both, and let's just see what you think compared. There isn't much difference at all, man. It really isn't if they're done right, you know.
That's what
Other
I
than
want.
the flavors. The flavors is the only thing you're gonna notice. You got your JO or Old Bay or whatever. Then down here we use the Cajun seasonings. There's your difference right there, you know.
Somebody asked, where's the other chat?
Where is the other chat? That's what Jim Nelson asked for. Where you're headed to?
Oh,
What's
that's
that?
the name of his channel is Yes I Can Barbecue. Name is Simon. He's in a wheelchair. That's why he named it that. Yes I Can Barbecue, and he's going live at, well, like I said, he went live at 8 o'clock. So that's where I'm headed to.
All right, you got it. Thanks everybody for stopping. And Russ, thank you very much, man. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay, buddy.
Randy just put a link in there too for anybody that wants to go over there and watch. All right, Sam, sounds good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, Chad.
Yep, it was a great discussion. All right, see everybody.
All right.